Hi, and welcome to the Unlimited Power Series, where we've searched the globe to find some of the most amazing experts. These experts are masters in intuitive guidance, communication with angels and spirit guides, and connecting with the power from within. I've brought these experts together to help you tap into the power that's within you. It's my vision that you can create your own extraordinary life by reaching your absolute potential. My name is Monique Farrell, and I'm your host. I've been honored and blessed to interview some amazing people who are willing to share their stories, their tips, and the proven strategies to help us reach our higher consciousness. I am so excited today to introduce today's expert, Johanna Burkhardt. She is the Soul Shaman, quantum energy facilitator, and author. Welcome, Johanna. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Oh, we're excited to have you here. We are looking forward to learning so much from you. But first, can you tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got to where you are today?
Oh, goodness. I currently live on the coast of North Carolina, but I'm from San Diego, born and raised, lived there my whole entire life up until about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like most people who are probably watching this, I worked corporate. I even owned an insurance agency at one time.
Wow.
I wore the high heels and, danced the little dance that we do for, the corporate people, and made a ton of money and was miserable most of the time. After some shifting and moving across country and, just going through a year of absolute hell. I lost my father at the age of 56 after watching him, deteriorate very quickly from liver disease. I lost my job in corporate. I lost my home. And I was misdiagnosed with a stroke 3 days after I got married. So all of that happened in 1 year, and I fell into a huge downward spiral and was on the brink of suicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a dark night of the soul that was just so deep that I didn't think I would ever see my way out of it. But, there's power in owning what's happening with you. And when I didn't even realize that was what was going on, I admitted to my husband that I wanted to die. And that day, that moment that of me saying those words, it was like a light switch went on in my head. I stepped into that dirty water and I said, I don't want to be here anymore. This is how I feel. I can't handle the pain. And I just accepted that that's where I was. And that was the moment that the light turned on. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. This is not what I want. Wait, take it back. I take it back. And it's not like it all turned around after that, but that's where my journey began. That's where my spiritual awakening began. And that journey into knowing yourself at the deepest level.
Well, you acknowledged.
Yes.
As soon as people acknowledge their fear or their what's going on, that's when you can get to the other side and break through it. And it, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. You have to work at it.
Oh yeah.
And it's a continuous journey. And that's why I keep saying it's a journey. And in our journey in life, there is so many bends and valleys, and you're just going, and it's never always going to be this utopia all the time. That's
No.
not life. And people on our audience, and that's what I try to get across is you want that happiness and you want to get over it, but you have to work at it. Can you tell us how you started to learn to trust your intuition?
That is something that comes in layers. I'll be really honest. And like you're talking about the journey, we are an onion. We always will be. Unless you've reached enlightenment, there's always going to be layers. It's a process of how quickly you can shed those layers. And as you start to learn that process, the faster those layers come off. So for me, it was shutting out everything else in the beginning. So right away, I spent a ton of money trying to escape the pain, reading every book, taking every course, doing all these things, thinking, oh, it's something else. when I shut the world out and took 40 days to myself, this is the very beginning of my trusting myself, 40 days, and this is free. Anybody can do this. I meditated when I didn't even know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I just listened to meditation music. If you need guided, that's fine. I journaled everything, even if it was 5 sentences of nothing but cuss words. I got it out onto paper. And I stripped away, and this is hardcore, so it's not going to be for everybody, but I stripped away all processed food, all sugar, all alcohol, all everything. And I literally cleaned my vessel, my soul, and my mind all at the same time. And this is when, after 40 days, because I really believe 40 to 60 days is how you make a healthy habit. This 21-day nonsense just doesn't work for me. But
and everyone's different, right?
Yeah, but it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And so after that 40 days, I started to feel things in my body, and I was able to then know and touch on that gut feeling that we like to call it, the gut feeling.
Yeah.
But literally, the mind-body connection is so strong in us that our bodies are a GPS system. They are an alert system. They will tell you when there is real fear, when it's really something, and it only happens right before it happens. It's not something that's going to happen 5 days ahead of time. Or if something's really good, you start to learn how that feels in your body. And that's the thing. If you are overloading your system with bad food, you're medicating with alcohol, or you're just not caring for yourself, you're not doing that self-care, you're not going to know what yes and no feels like in your body, and you're not going to trust it. And it's a split second, that first decision, that first answer, that's it. Go with it. That hesitation, that's your ego going, nope, we want to protect you because 5 years ago, this one thing happened and it could happen again. And it's like, no, the only thing we can do is this moment, this moment, this moment. That's it. So trust it.
It is that split second, that gut instinct that people, they end up questioning. And when they question it and don't follow it, then they look back and go, oh, I should have went with my first instinct. But you're so right. It's about clearing. It's the mind, body, soul connection. For myself, I did the same thing. It started last year of cutting out all carbs, all sugar, and just the clearing of my mind. It was like a cloud lifted. Like my family could physically see that cloud over me.
That gut health is a real thing, because that's where your true brain and heart live, is in your stomach, in your gut. That's where it is. So if it's convoluted with chemicals and your liver's having to overprocess, your brain function it is not good. And your brain is a tool. Your heart is supposed to lead your brain. But if your brain is not, if that fog is so heavy, you're just everything's just working overtime, and you're in a hot mess. You're in that fog.
Oh, for sure. Is this where you would say that's how you could get into the right vibration?
Yes. So vibration is, we're literally all energy. So our vibration and frequency that we, push off into our aura, into other people, is one of the most important things that we can do, period. And so in order to get into that vibration, you want to eat something that feels good. That's going to be different for everybody. So some people can eat meat, some people can't, the raw foods. But the thing is if it's a high vibrational food, it's going to feel good in your body. It's going to feel enough and fresh and good. And we want to do that. We want to do things like listen to music that lifts our spirit up. We want to get fresh air, sunshine. We want to take walks. We want to do things that fill up our soul, because just those little things, you think it doesn't matter, but that moment of pure appreciation of it's 25 degrees below zero outside, but my coffee, I'm so appreciative for my coffee, and you're holding on to it and you're just like feeling that warmth and you're sinking into it. Right there, you just raised your vibration. And so many people want to, they want to manifest, and they want to call in the clients. They want to make all the money. They want to do all these things. But they're asking for it in a place of desperation and fear and low vibration. And all you're going to do is call in more examples, more learning experiences, because that's the vibration that you're at. So all these little things can raise our vibration. And by doing that, you heal your body. I don't have any more backaches. I don't have any more back pain. I had major issues. They almost wanted to do surgery for me. I had chronic migraines. I had all kinds of issues. None. All of them gone.
That's wonderful.
It really is. And I mean, literally, you can heal yourself when you put your body in alignment and raise your vibration. And so sometimes that requires us to step into that dirty water. It requires us to step into the thing that we're so afraid of, that the pain. You know, I always say, we're not afraid of the dark. We're afraid of what's in the dark.
Yes.
So if you walk into it, you're going to realize, oh, it's not so bad in here. I can just sit here for a second and then the light will come on.
And gratitude, just being grateful for what you have, it brings you into high vibration. And people are looking outwards and for that gratification. People have to start looking what's in their immediate vicinity to find there's miracles happening nonstop, over and over and over all day. Just the sun shining is a miracle. You also talked about when your 40 days of meditation and not even knowing what meditation is and how. Just someone stopping and breathing for 5 minutes in a day can raise someone's vibration and open up the channels to allow the positive energy in.
Oh, yeah.
So can you tell people how they would know when they're trusting their own intuition and when it's the right vibration? And they're, do you know what I mean?
Yes. This is what I talk about with my community all the time, because, you know, we as humans think that everything has to be hard. We think we have to slave and work and, you know, just that conditioning that we've been under. So when things are in flow and they're easy, now that doesn't mean you're not going to have to, like, you know, work your actual business or, you know, do work, but it's not hard. You're not struggling. You're not pushing against. When things just flow and they're natural and you feel good about what you're doing, you are in the right vibration. You are trusting your intuition. You're allowing that information to come in, because whether people believe it or not, we're always channeling. We're always receiving, whether it's our higher self, source, whatever you want to call it. I work best with one-on-one clients, so I end up channeling them and sorting out their thoughts really easily. And so when it's easy, that's when you are in flow. When you start hitting that wall and things are hard and you're getting frustrated and you're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't the ideas coming to me? Why can't I figure this out? You are literally, you've turned your boat around and you are paddling upstream. You are out of alignment. You are not in flow. You're going to start to feel tension in your shoulders and your jaw and your neck. You're going to start feeling it in your back. And it literally can manifest that quickly. And so you have to learn how your body responds to that so that you can be aware. That's like the number one thing I'll tell anybody. Just you being aware of how your body reacts is going to change your life. Because that moment that you feel, oh, okay, I'm pushing. I need to go take a walk. I need to just kind of let things settle. And when you do that, when you walk away, when you surrender and say, okay, I'm going to go take a walk, you allow that to release and you allow new energy to come in. And then you're like, oh, okay, now all of a sudden what you're looking for is right in front of you.
Do you find you have, because you work for one-on-one, do you find you have people that, because we're conditioned that, and you said it, you have to work hard. The harder you work, the more you're going to get. That if it does come easy, their fear comes in going, what's going on? This is too easy. Is this really real? Can I trust it? Do you have people that think that way?
Oh yeah. I was one of them forever.
And what do you tell? Give us some tips on what you tell people that feel that because that fear is a block.
Yeah.
So you can talk yourself and say, this is the way it's supposed to be. Johanna said it's supposed to be this way. But that fear can be so nagging, and it's hard to get over it. Do you have any tools and tips of, how to get over that fear and to accept that, once I open up the channels, this can be easy. It doesn't need to be hard, but I got to be willing to open up and let the fear go.
Yes. So I have a few tips. And first I want to say, what you believe is everything. So if you, like, there's a saying that says, if you believe you're right or you believe you're wrong, you're always right, because your belief system at the end of the day is what's going to determine everything. So if you believe that you are blocked, you will be. If you believe you're not blocked, you won't be. That is all an illusion. Fear is an illusion, complete illusion. It's the water on the road on a hot day that's vaporizing up. It's not really there, that mirage. And so one is knowing that if you believe that whatever you're going to do is going to work out, it will, but you have to feel it. So here's the thing. It's a feeling in your body. You can tell yourself an affirmation all day long, but unless you feel it, it won't work.
Yes.
And you have to believe. So that's one. Two, when you feel that fear, because it still comes on, fear is something that we're meant to walk alongside. We're never meant to escape it. It's never going to go away. But you can see it alongside you and choose to respond to it in a different way and not react to it. Okay?
I like that. Respond and not react.
See it there and be like, hello, you're a friend of mine. It's okay. I don't need you. I'm good.
Yeah.
So some people like to name their ego. Ego is not a bad thing. It's there. It has its purpose, but it's okay to not, I don't want to say keep it, we're never separate from it, but to acknowledge that it's there, to call it out and say, no, I'm okay. Thank you. And release it from being in control and go back to letting your heart lead the way.
I was going to say that you don't want it to control you.
Yes.
You got to acknowledge it.
Power,
yeah.
And it's just going to go, go, go. It's a motor center. So the third tip, and I love this and my clients really love this. So think about yourself being face to face with a mountain lion and you have a split second. There's a split second before you go into panic mode, right? So awareness, again, is key here. Being aware of how your body reacts. In that split second, if you can change your mind, if you can say, what do I want to feel instead? Do I want to trust that I know what to do here? Give it a color. And as you're breathing in, and I know this sounds like a lot to do in a split second, but once you start practicing it, you can get it down. So if you want to feel peace, what color would that be? If you want to feel trusting in your gut, what color would that be? If you want to feel love, etc., give it a color and know those colors. And as you breathe in, your breath is that color. Breathe it down to your root and breathe out, let it come back up. And just do that 3 times and invoke that feeling. I am trust. I am love. And just hear you saying that in your head. You can say it out loud, whatever, and just breathe. You don't have to do anything but breathe and just imagine your breath is that color. And it will literally just clean you out in that moment and bring you back to that space where you're like, I know what to do right now. So the mountain lion is an extreme case, but if you're getting ready to go, for a lot of people, it's going on Facebook Live. It's doing that first launch. It's talking on their first stage, whatever. It's trusting that they're channeling, trusting that they're speaking to their spirit guides. When you step into that fear, call it in and say, you know what? I want to feel this instead. And that's not bypassing. That is tapping in to what is your truth and what's already in your heart. Because here's the thing, whatever it is that we're looking for on the outside world that we think is going to make us happy, it's the feeling behind that thing that we really want. And that feeling already lives inside of us. We just have to tap into it.
And when you can tap into it and get that feeling that's within you, everything else is that much better.
Yes. And one other tip that I'll give, just because, I feel like this is such a good one, especially since we're talking about, trusting ourselves and if we're talking to guides and so forth, creating an evidence log. So when something is too easy, but you're like, you know what, it's supposed to be this way. I'm going to trust it and I'm going to go for it. And it works out. Keep a log, write it down, keep a separate journal that's just like, this is my evidence log, and write down, this is what I thought. this is what I felt, and this is what happened.
That's a really interesting tip for people, because it's concrete. It's there that you can go back to later on and go, because we forget things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when things start to really happen and manifest, and your connection, it is very easy to forget, and you can go back and be grateful. And the more you're grateful, the more those channels open up.
The more you can go back and see, I trusted myself and look what happened. Because it's funny how we remember the bad way more than we remember the good.
It is for sure. It's that saying, if you go into a restaurant, a bad review spreads and spreads and spreads more than a good review. And it's the same idea with ourselves, to remember all the good. And when you start opening up, breathing and opening those channels, and I like how you say, give it a color and breathe that color in. I always breathe, and I never really thought about it to the extent that you're saying, but I always breathe in white.
Which is purifying, right?
Yeah.
White is purifying.
Yeah.
And so we're light beings, we're all energy. So let's use what is already what we're part of to help us, It's beautiful.
It's weird, because I breathe in the white, and when I'm exhaling, I picture a golden color going as far as can be, and spreading that. And
that's beautiful.
And doing it, not even a conscious thought. I'm just like going, okay, this is what I do. I know, the breathing, I am connected. I do get connected, all that, but this is how I do it. And not even really knowing that I put a color, that there is a reason why I put a color, but I always put that color.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, and great tips to give the audience, because there, you have some people that are going to be listening that are connected and are on their journey, have been on it for a while, but there's some people that are going to be watching this, that don't even know where to start.
And let me tell you, I know what my soul's purpose is, and it's always been in the field of guidance, and it's not and a healer. I've always known that. And there's so many different versions of a healer. Yes. There's a whole huge spectrum. But if you don't trust the breadcrumb trail, if you don't trust and take that next step, you're never going to be given the next one. And in my journey, I speak and heal babies in the womb as one of my favorite gifts that I have, and it's a rare gift to have. And I'll tell you, if you don't trust, you're going to think you're crazy, Mm-hmm. And it's that we have so much greatness inside of us. We have so many beautiful gifts that we are meant to share with this world if mm-hmm. we choose to. We have free will. So you have to choose to do it. And that requires trusting and thinking, God, am I crazy? Is Metatron sitting right here? Is Archangel Michael talking to me? Yes, honey, he is. Trust it. Because the mm-hmm. more you trust and the more you say, thank you, I'm so appreciative for you being here and helping me on my trail, on my journey, because that's what life is. It's a journey. Mm-hmm. It's not the destination. Otherwise, we'd all be bored out of our mind, So it's like when we do that and we say, because they really love their appreciation. So if you mm-hmm. acknowledge them, the more you acknowledge and trust, the more you get, the wider it opens. That imagine this huge funnel above your head. And the more you trust, and up here, if you think about the Abraham Hicks, they always say, your vortex.
Yeah.
Right now it's this pinhole. And the more you trust and allow, the bigger that vortex opening gets. And before you know it, it's like, whoosh, and you become this gigantic magnet. Mm-hmm. Remember, our energy goes out into our aura field. So we literally are magnets. We are human antennas. Mm-hmm. So whatever you want, raise your vibration to it, call it in, and watch it. Just pull right in. Yeah. And that goes with your thoughts, with your talking to your angels, with everything. It's mm-hmm. amazing.
It's magical and wondrous, and that's what I want others to feel that. And it's good to hear that, like your story. And your journey to get to where you are and how you can serve others. And it's still a journey.
Oh, yeah.
And that, you know what, anybody could start the journey. And when they see that other people where their beginnings, where they can see that it can happen.
Yeah. And it's hard because there's a lot of people out there that are teaching, especially and unfortunately in the spiritual world, in that realm, are teaching the shadow work. And shadow work is a huge part of what I do, but it doesn't have to be icky. It doesn't have to be dark and miserable. And I don't want to go through this and dig everything up. That's not what it's meant to do. It's meant to, at least in what I do, it's meant to illuminate your superpowers, your gifts.
Yes.
Say, listen, yes, there's a flip side to that coin. There is a shadow to that of what you might have to step into. But if you follow these basic few steps, the more you do that, the more you transmute it. And you're not spending a week in a downward spiral. It's 10 minutes or a half an hour. And you're like, okay, I've moved through it. And the next time it'll be faster. And the next time it'll be faster. And it's just that layer just falling away.
That onion.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is.
And that's what and why this series came about is because I want to help people find the tools to uncover those layers and get to the true happiness within themselves, and to know that it isn't an instant, it's not that instant gratification. You continue at it, and it's a wonderful journey. And the more you do it, the more happiness that you find within. How did you use all these tools to build your own business?
The trusting of the breadcrumb trail, literally I like to call it the golden path. Before I actually knew there was a thing called the golden path. But it was trusting the next step. So I would be given a breadcrumb trail. I'd be given a breadcrumb and I'd be like, oh, this is interesting. It feels really good. Let me go explore it. And then it would lead to something else. It would lead to something else. And maybe that thing wasn't meant for me, but it had the person I needed to meet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I would just do these little things. And we evolve, our business evolves. So not afraid to burn it down, not afraid to burn down your platforms and shift it and do something different, because you've evolved and you know that you need new energy and new this or new that. It's literally just trusting and taking that step forward. When you start doubting yourself or getting shiny object syndrome and, you're like, oh, look at that. That's my next way to make money. No. Follow what you believe in. Follow what's in your heart that lights you up, that you would do for free if you had millions of dollars, and stay with it. Don't get distracted by what all these people are telling you, that this is how you're going to make $60,000 a month, Let it go. This is where we get trapped in comparison syndrome, Follow your heart, do what you feel good to do, how you feel good to bring this into the world, because that is all that matters. And when you start getting distracted and going over here and over there, and that's what I was doing in the beginning, I was getting distracted, and I completely veered off my golden path, and I was out in the forest somewhere lost, and I had to find my way back, and that's okay. It was a learning experience. And so doing that and trusting that it's okay to fail because you're going to learn something, trusting that this feels good, so it's okay that I do that, and that this 7-figure earner over here didn't do that. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's our own thing. And so that's what I did, is I was like, you know what? I'm done listening to everybody else. I'm sticking the whole time. My message has never changed. It's just evolved.
Yeah.
And so sticking with my path and coming back onto it and trusting. For a long time, a year, I pushed away working with children and working with babies in the womb, because I was like, oh, why would they give that to me? Like, why me? Why the hell not?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Oprah. Look at her story. Look at some of these people. Look at Tony Robbins. Look at some of these people. Who would have thought that they would have been where they were? They just followed the trail and believed in themselves and did what lit them up. And that's what you do. And that's what I did. And I've come into this space, and instead of denying it for so long and thinking, who am I was like, you know what? I keep getting called back to it. And so I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to step into it. And as soon as I did, it went, it was like, here you go. Finally, you've arrived.
This is who I am.
Yeah. And so it doesn't mean I can't still work with women or men or whatever, but it's a piece of me, a big piece of me that I wasn't acknowledging for so long, because I was like, who am I to do this great work? Right. I think I have to look a certain way or be already successful to be that kind of person. And that's a bunch of baloney.
Don't you find when you acknowledge that this was part of you and it was a big part of you, that your other work probably enhanced as well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How did you deal with, and this has come up in different interviews as well. I'm curious, how did you deal with the judgment of others, or the fear of others' judgment, going, what is she doing? That's out in left field. What is she doing? How did you deal that? It is.
The fear of being seen or heard is huge, or persecution, especially in the spiritual world. The process for me, and I think is probably the same for anybody, I'll be honest, it might tweak a little bit, but it's knowing yourself and loving yourself, and knowing that you're whole at your core, at the deepest levels, knowing your ins and outs of how you are, and loving yourself the most, and knowing that you are already whole right now is the answer. Because here's the thing, judgment. If someone's judging you, they are judging themselves far worse.
Yes.
So if you're judging yourself, don't expect others not to judge you. So when you are afraid of judgment, that means there is still fear within you, and you still don't trust yourself. You still don't feel and love yourself enough to believe that you could be that person, that you could be hearing this, doing this, being that. And so that is all it is. And it's a beautiful thing, because it reminds us, hey, we have a little bit more work to do. Yeah. And that's okay. You can keep doing your work and just acknowledging that fear. And my biggest thing is, be authentic with your audience. Say, listen, this may trigger you, and that's okay. We don't have to believe the same thing. No. We can still be friends and disagree. It's okay, and just realize that when people it's accepting grace into your life. When people put those nasty comments or say rude things, it's embracing them. Someone once told me, I eat pain for breakfast. And I thought, okay. But I was already transmuting. And so how I took it was, take their pain in and then breathe back out love and compassion, because they need it more than anybody else, because they are judging themselves 10 times worse than what they're saying to you.
It sounds like it. Well, that's good tips, or good strategies to use to overcome that, because that judgment of yourself is a big one, and it transfers to other people judging you.
Yeah, because it's in your energy field. So remember, if you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable.
Yes, everything around us, the energy, amazing tips and tools and strategy. I thank you. I'm soaking this up, so I'm sure our audience is going to be soaking it up. I have one final question for you, Johanna. How can I serve you?
I don't even know. You're serving me right now, just by being a part of this and connecting with another person who is wanting to serve. Because when we talk to each other, and when we share our gifts with the world and hear that other people are doing the same, it raises us all together, because we're a collective.
Yes.
Right? So when you heal another. When I heal another. And so it just dominoes out into this beautifulness. And so just being a part of this and just getting to know you and take in your energy, that's serving me right there. That it's such a beautiful connection is everything.
Yes.
Thank you. I love it.
Thank you. And back to the energy. When one heals, the universe, we're all one. So it always goes back to that energy. Everything goes back to that energy, and energy just, it magnifies. If people just, if it's that rippling effect. Well, thank you very much. I would like everyone please to check out, you have a free gift, right? That you...
Yes. So there, I put I think there's a link that you'll be able to click on. And what you'll get is once a month, I send out a quantum healing, other meditation, video series, or crystal grid. I work with a lot of the beings like Metatron, who gives me healing grids. They'll put the image in, and I put them out. And so that's what you'll get once a month from me. It's free, and it's going to be, listen, my meditations, people say, do massive work on them. So
awesome.
It's a pretty awesome thing. And it will also put you in touch with me, because my Lighthouse Leadership Academy is going to be opening up soon. And that is healing the healer at the deepest levels. We have other experts that are joining me on this journey to fast track our healing, so that we can trust ourselves to the deepest level. We can let go of those wounds that were, imprinted in our DNA in our mother's womb and brought down through ancestors and past lives. And we want to go in and we want to bring them to the surface, and we want to clear them out. And we want to teach you how to do this transmutation and trusting yourself at the deepest levels. If you're going to go into business for yourself, your mind and your body and your soul need to be in alignment before you start spending any money on creating stuff like that, Otherwise it's a waste.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for giving that free gift to our audience. I also want everyone to check out your website, www.johannaburkhardt.com. She has tons of stuff on there for you to learn and transform your life. So I want to thank you, Johanna, once again from the bottom of my heart. This has been amazing, truly a blessing for all of us to learn everything that you have to offer. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. And until next time, all my blessings. I'm Monique Farrell, your host.